Hello everyone. Today I will read out the story of a dog and a piece of meat from our website Notepad Academy. The first story. Once there lived a dog in a village. One day the dog stole a piece of meat from the shop of a butcher near his area. Stealing the piece of meat, the dog was running toward his area. The dog was holding the piece of meat in his mouth. He was in a happy mood to have a big piece of meat. He was thinking that he could have a good meal with the piece of meat. On way to his area, there was a small river, and there was a wooden bridge over the river. The dog was crossing the river using the bridge. While the dog was crossing the bridge, he looked down at the river water. The river water was crystal clear. Everything was clearly reflected in the river water. The dog saw another dog in the river water with a piece of meat in its mouth. Actually, it was the reflection or shadow of his own body. The dog thought that if he could have that piece of meat, he would have two big pieces of meat. With the two pieces of meat, he would have a good lunch. He decided to have that piece of meat. He shouted loudly to frighten the dog in the river water. As soon as he opened his mouth to bark, the piece of meat fell down in the river water from his mouth. There was a light current in the river water. The piece of meat went away with the flow of river water from his eyesight. The dog was in a fix in the contingency of events. The greedy dog became astonished at the incident. Because of his greed, he lost his only piece of meat. Now he could realize his stupidity. Moral of the story: greed brings disaster. Now the second story. Long ago, there lived a greedy dog in a village market. There was a butcher shop in the market. One day the dog stole a piece of meat from the butcher shop. The dog was hungry, so he became very happy having the piece of meat. He thought that he should go to a lonely place to eat the meat. By the side of the market there was a small river. There was also a narrow bridge over the river. The dog decided to cross the river for having his meal with the meat at ease. So he started walking towards the bridge to cross the river. The river water was clean and clear. Everything could be seen through the water. When the dog was crossing the river over the narrow bridge, he looked down to the water. He became surprised to see another dog in the water. And there was a piece of meat on the mouth of that dog. It was the shadow of the real dog, but the real dog thought the shadow as a real one and wanted to have the meat of that dog. As he was a greedy dog, so he was tempted to have that piece of meat, which was actually a shadow of his own meat. The dog was thinking about how to get that piece of meat. All of a sudden, he hit upon a plan. He thought if he could make that dog in the water frightened or scared, he easily could have the meat. So he started barking. As soon as he opened his mouth to bark, the piece of meat fell down from his mouth into the river water. As the river water was clean and there was current in the river, the piece of meat was washed away instantly. The dog looked down to the water from the bridge and saw the meat was no more there. The greedy dog could realize his foolishness and was standing on the bridge in a sorry mood. Moral of the story: grasp all, lose all. That's all for today. Thank you, everyone.